Men, the most devastating discovery in dating isn't getting rejected after 3 dates. It's investing time, energy, and emotion into someone only to discover she was already in a relationship the entire time, using you as her backup plan, emotional, support, or exit strategy while maintaining commitment to someone else. Before we dive in, hit subscribe, smash that like and hype button, and drop a comment if you've ever discovered mid-dating that she was already involved with someone else and what signs you missed. Your experience might help another man recognize these red flags before he becomes the unknowing side piece in someone else's relationship drama. Sign 1. The phone guarding behavior, hypervigilance about her device. When she keeps her phone face down on the table at all times, angles it away when checking notifications, or shows visible anxiety when messages come through during dinner, she's not just being polite by limiting phone usage, she's actively guarding her device because incoming messages would reveal she's communicating with another man she doesn't want you knowing about. What this reveals she's managing multiple relationship dynamics simultaneously. Women who are genuinely single and interested don't exhibit phone anxiety on dates. They casually check messages, laugh at texts from friends, or even share funny content they receive. The hypervigilance about preventing you from seeing her screen suggests those messages would compromise the single available image she's presenting. Notice the specific behaviors. Does she grab her phone immediately when it buzzes, before you can even glance at it? Does she excuse herself to check messages privately, rather than briefly looking at her phone at the table? Does she silence her phone partway through the date after several notifications come through? These behaviors indicate she's receiving communication she needs to hide and possibly respond to without your awareness. Watch for inconsistency between her stated phone habits and actual behavior. If she claims she never uses her phone much, but checks it constantly when she thinks you're not looking, or if she mentions being terrible at texting back, but responds immediately to certain messages that come through during your date, she's managing communication with someone else who gets priority access. The pattern to notice. The phone guarding becomes more pronounced when certain types of messages arrive. If some notifications cause visible tension or immediate need to check privately, while others don't, she's distinguishing between people who can know about you and someone who cannot. That someone is likely a boyfriend, husband, or situationship she's hiding you from. How to assess? You can test this by creating a moment where you'd naturally see her phone. Ask to see photos from a trip she mentioned, or show her something on your phone and hand it to her, creating a reciprocal expectation. If she's extremely reluctant to let you see her unlocked screen, or immediately locks it after showing you one specific photo, she's hiding active conversations. Don't directly accuse or interrogate. That creates defensiveness. Instead, notice the pattern. One instance of phone privacy might mean nothing. Consistent hypervigilance throughout the date, especially combined with other signs from this list, reveals she's managing a relationship she's concealing from you. Sign 2. The strategic time windows, unusual availability restrictions. When she's only available to meet during specific narrow time windows, only weekday afternoons, only certain evenings, never weekends, never staying past a specific time, and these restrictions seem arbitrary or inconsistent with her stated schedule. She's not just busy, she's working around another man's schedule, ensuring her time with you doesn't overlap with time she's expected to be available to him. What this reveals? This reveals she's managing 2 calendars, her actual availability and her availability to you that doesn't conflict with her existing relationship. Women who are genuinely single have normal scheduling flexibility. They might be busy, but their availability doesn't follow suspicious patterns where entire categories of time are completely off limits without reasonable explanation. Notice if the restrictions don't match her stated obligations. If she says she works normal business hours but is only available for dates from 2 to 5 p.m. on weekdays, the timing doesn't align with a standard work schedule. If she's busy with friends every single weekend without exception, but weeknights after 8 p.m. are always open. The pattern suggests she's accommodating someone else's schedule. Watch for hard cut-off times that seem arbitrary. If she needs to leave by 9 p.m. sharp, regardless of how well the date is going, or if she can never do anything on Saturday, despite claiming to have free weekends, she's working within constraints imposed by another relationship. The rigidity of these boundaries reveals they're not about her preferences, but about avoiding detection. The pattern to notice. She might mention time restrictions as firm rules before you even suggest specific times. I can only do weeknight dinners, or I'm never free on weekends. This preemptive establishing of boundaries prevents you from suggesting times that would conflict with her existing relationship. She's managing expectations before you accidentally propose something that would expose her unavailability. Additionally, notice if she panics or becomes inflexible when you suggest times outside her windows. If casually suggesting, "Let's grab brunch on Saturday," creates disproportionate stress or immediate shutdown without reasonable explanation, she's protecting time that's already allocated to someone else. How to assess. Propose meeting outside her stated available windows and observe her reaction. If she's genuinely busy due to work or commitments, she'll explain naturally. "Saturdays I volunteer at the animal shelter until 2, but I'm free after that." If she's hiding a relationship, she'll be vague and inflexible. "Weekends just don't work, for me," without specifics. Also, test flexibility. "I know you said weeknights, but something came up Tuesday. Could we do Wednesday instead, or would Saturday afternoon work?" If she can easily flex within her available windows, but absolutely cannot accommodate times outside, then, regardless of how reasonable the request, she's managing around someone else. Sign 3, the social media blackout. Active accounts with invisible dating life. When she's clearly active on social media, posting stories, sharing content, commenting on friends' posts, but her relationship status is strategically ambiguous, she has no photos suggesting she's single and dating, and she shows reluctance or gives vague responses about whether you can follow her or be visible in her social sphere. She's not private. She's maintaining a public image that doesn't conflict with an existing relationship. What this reveals? This reveals she's curating her social media presence to hide either you or someone else. Women who are genuinely single and interested in dating don't exhibit anxiety about new people entering their social media world. They might not immediately add you, but they don't show active resistance or concern about their accounts being visible to you. Notice the disconnect between social media activity and relationship visibility. If she posts frequently about her life, food, activities, time with friends, but there's zero indication she's single, dating, or available, she's deliberately omitting content that would signal availability to someone else who's monitoring her. Social presence. Watch for strategic omissions. Does she post photos from social events, but carefully crop or avoid pictures that might show male companionship? Does she share details about her day, but nothing that would indicate she was on a date with you? Does she have relationship-related photos from the past that are still visible, without clear indication that relationship ended? The pattern to notice. She might mention social media in ways that reveal her concern about visibility. "I'm pretty private on social media, despite posting regularly." Or, "I don't really add people I'm dating until things are serious," as a preemptive explanation for why you can't follow her. These statements reveal she's concerned about someone seeing your connection to her. Additionally, notice if she asks you not to post about your date or tag her in anything. If she requests that you keep your meeting private from social media, she's not protecting her privacy from the world. She's protecting her existing relationship from evidence of you. How to assess. Casually mention something social media related. "This place is so photogenic. Do you post on Instagram much?" And observe her reaction. If she becomes guarded or changes the subject, she's concerned about social media creating evidence. If she mentions her accounts but seems reluctant to exchange handles, she's managing what you can see. You can also observe how she responds to photo opportunities. If you're having a great date and suggest taking a photo together, does she agree naturally, or does she show reluctance and concern about where that photo might end up? Women hiding relationships show anxiety about photographic evidence of their dates. Sign 4. The vague recent history. Unclear relationship status timeline. When you ask normal getting to know you questions about her recent relationship history, when her last relationship ended, whether she's dated since then, how long she's been single, and her answers are conspicuously vague, inconsistent, or deflective without good reason, she's not protecting her privacy. She's avoiding giving you information that would reveal she's still involved with someone. What this reveals? This reveals she can't give you accurate relationship timeline information without exposing that she's currently in a relationship. Women who are genuinely single can straightforwardly answer when their last relationship ended. I broke up with my ex about 6 months ago, or I've been single for a year. Vagueness about basic timeline suggests the truth would be problematic. Notice if she deflects rather than answers directly. If you ask, "How long have you been single?" and she responds with, "I'm focused on my career right now," or "I'm enjoying being independent," she's not answering the question. These deflections avoid lying directly, while preventing you from learning she's not actually single. Watch for inconsistencies in her story. If she mentions details that don't align, saying she's been single for a while, but later references recent couple activities, or mentions being completely unattached but has obvious recent relationship photos still visible on social media, the inconsistencies suggest she's constructing a narrative rather than sharing truth. The pattern to notice. She might become uncomfortable or defensive when you ask normal relationship history questions, treating reasonable curiosity as intrusive. "Why do you need to know about my exes?" Or, "I don't like talking about past relationships." While some people are private, most can handle basic questions about their current relationship status without defensiveness. Additionally, notice if she turns questions back on you without answering herself. "What about you? When was your last relationship?" This deflection technique avoids having to provide her own timeline while gathering information about your situation and expectations. How to assess. Ask a straightforward question about her current status. "So you're single and available to date right now?" Direct questions are harder to deflect than general ones. If she's truly single, she'll confirm easily, "Yes, completely single." If she's hiding involvement, she'll give qualified answers. "I'm not looking for anything serious," or "I'm seeing where things go with dating," answers that avoid confirming she's unattached. Also notice if her discomfort increases with specific questions. Asking when her last relationship ended should be answerable by anyone who's actually single. If the simple question creates unusual stress or elaborate deflection, she can't answer honestly without revealing she's currently involved. Sign 5. The communication blackout windows. Predictable periods of unavailability. When she's responsive to messages during certain times, but has predictable periods where she completely disappears. Every evening from 6 to 10 p.m., all weekend mornings, specific days of the week. Without reasonable explanation for the pattern, she's not randomly busy. She's unavailable during times when she's with another man who has her attention and proximity. What this reveals? This reveals she's managing communication around another person's schedule and presence. Women who are genuinely single might be busy, but their unavailability doesn't follow suspicious patterns of complete communication blackout during specific recurring windows. The predictability suggests she's accommodating someone else's routine presence in her life. Notice if the blackout periods align with typical relationship time. Evenings, nights, weekends. If she's very responsive during work hours but disappears every evening, she's likely spending evenings with someone she lives with or sees regularly. If she's available weeknights but goes completely dark every weekend, she's spending weekends with someone who gets her full attention. Watch for sudden disappearances mid-conversation. If you're texting throughout the day and she suddenly stops responding at 6 p.m. without explanation, then picks back up at 10 p.m. as if nothing happened, she's been with someone during that window who couldn't know she was communicating with you. The pattern to notice. The blackout periods might be explained with vague recurring excuses. I'm never much of a texter at night, or I'm usually busy on weekends. These general explanations for specific patterns avoid saying I'm with my boyfriend during these times. The vagueness is intentional. Specific explanations would invite follow-up questions. Additionally, notice if she's apologetic or explanatory when communication resumes after blackouts. Sorry, I got busy, or crazy evening, just seeing this now. These apologies acknowledge the disappearance while avoiding specifics about what caused it. If she's genuinely busy, she'll often explain what she was doing. If she's hiding someone, she'll be vague. How to assess: document the pattern over several days. If she's consistently unavailable during the same windows repeatedly, the pattern is more significant than random busyness. You can also test by suggesting real-time communication during her blackout periods. Want to FaceTime tonight around 8? If she's consistently unable or unwilling to do real-time communication during specific windows, she's protecting those times from intrusion. Notice her response style when communication resumes. Does she pick up conversations naturally, as if no time passed, or does she seem careful about what she reveals about what she was doing? If she's evasive about her activities during blackout periods, she's hiding how she spent that time. Sign 6. The future-averse conversation, resistance to any planning beyond immediate. When you discuss anything beyond the current date, we should check out that new restaurant next week, or there's a concert next month that might be fun, and she's consistently non-committal, changes the subject, or becomes uncomfortable with any forward-looking plans. She's not being spontaneous or living in the moment. She's unable to make future plans with you because she doesn't know her future availability in a relationship she's hiding. What this reveals? This reveals she can't commit to future plans because her actual relationship situation is uncertain, or because making plans with you would conflict with commitments she's already made to someone else. Women who are genuinely single and interested in getting to know you better respond positively to suggestions of future meetings. That sounds fun, let's do it. Her resistance to planning ahead indicates complications preventing future availability. Notice if resistance increases with timeline length. She might tolerate vague, let's meet again, but becomes uncomfortable with specific plans. How about dinner next Saturday? The specificity makes it harder to deflect and might conflict with existing commitments to someone else. Watch for deflection techniques. Let's see how things go. I'm not sure what my schedule looks like, or I don't like to plan too far ahead. These statements avoid committing while not overtly rejecting future meetings. There's strategic vagueness that protects her from either committing to you or revealing she can't commit because of someone else. The pattern to notice. She might agree to meeting again in principle, but resist actual planning. Yeah, we should definitely hang out again sometime, without ever proposing specific times. This keeps you interested in pursuing while avoiding concrete commitments that would conflict with her existing relationship or that she'd have to cancel when her actual situation prevents them. Additionally, notice if she shows anxiety about the future of whatever you're building. I'm not looking for anything serious, or let's just see where things go, said with emphasis that suggests she's managing expectations because she knows this. Can't develop into something serious while she's involved with someone else. How to assess. Propose a specific plan for a specific date in the near future. Want to grab coffee next Thursday at 6? Direct, specific proposals are harder to deflect than vague suggestions. If she's interested and available, she'll either agree or propose an alternative. If she's hiding a relationship, she'll be vague. Maybe, let me see, without ever confirming. Also, test her comfort level with relationship development discussion. I'm enjoying getting to know you and would like to keep seeing where this goes. If this statement that merely acknowledges continued dating creates discomfort or retreat, she's not in a position to develop something with you because she's already developing something with someone else.